like me, you would be familiar with George Duffield's Stand Up for Jesus. All right? And the third verse says, stand up for Jesus, stand in his strength alone. The arm of flesh will fail you, you dare not trust your own. Put on the gospel armor, each piece put on with prayer. Where duty calls or danger, be never wanting there. And that's the thoughts I want to reflect on tonight. Be never wanting there, and it is based on Judges chapter 5 and verse 23, but we'll get to Judges chapter 5 and verse 23 a little later. This hymn was written under and out of tragic circumstances. A friend, a minister, had a friend who was also a minister who experienced tragic loss, and the surviving minister, who was dear to him, wrote the song about what his ministry was about. That is the minister that was getting depressed and down because of the tragedy in his life. And so the message of Stand Up for Jesus is, first of all, a rallying cry, a trumpet call, if you will, a rallying cry for Christians to actively engage in their faith and be encouraged, and not only be encouraged, but to be courageous in the face of the challenges that they face as they live up to their faith. So it says, put on the gospel armor, put on each piece with prayer. The lyrics encouraged believers to put on the whole armor of God, and you'll recognize that he is making an allusion to Ephesians chapter 6, the Christian armor. To put on the whole armor of God and to fight against the forces of evil and darkness that is challenging us and confronting us every day. So when we sing the song, Stand Up for Jesus, we ought to keep in mind that what the hymn is doing is emphasizing the need for a couple of things. First of all, it is encouraging the need for steadfastness. It is encouraging the need for devotion and loyalty to Jesus, even amidst the adversities that we face. So that is what Stand Up for Jesus is about. All of the verses. Now, verse 3 that we quoted encourages us to not only persevere during times of difficulty, but it also encourages us to boldly identify ourselves as followers of Christ. And the encouragement to us in this song that we sing is that we must stand firm in our conviction and in our faith. The verse, that is verse 3, if you're looking at the verse, at the hymn, verse 3 acknowledges the challenges, the obstacles, and the setbacks that will face us, that we will be confronted with. Christianity is not an easy road if you're going to live up to your faith, because it is going to be challenged. But ultimately, the song affirms that with conviction, perseverance, and determination, we can overcome. Now, if it challenges us, that is stand up for Jesus, that whether there is danger or duty, the faithful child of God should never be absent. When it calls for us to face dangers for the cause of Christ, the hymn says we should never be wanting there. When there's a duty that confronts us, the faithful Christian should not be wanting there. He should ever be present. He should be standing in his place. Now with that background, let's look at Judges chapter 5. Judges chapter 5 records the song of Deborah and Barak. And in this song, Deborah and the children of Israel are celebrating their victory over the Canaanites. And Deborah, in this song, along with the faithful Israelites, they are itemizing what happened during and caused the victory. All right? So I want to just point out two lessons that we can learn from Judges chapter 5. And bear with me, and I'm going to read from verses 13 right down to verse 23. And you can read along with me. Verse 13. All right, from verse 12. Awake, awake, Deborah, awake, awake, break out in a song. Arise, Barak, lead away your captives, O son of Abinoam. Then down marched the remnant of the whole of the noble. The people of the Lord marched down for me against the mighty. From Ephraim, their route, they marched down into the valley, following you, Benjamin, with your kinsmen, and Machar marched down the commanders, and from Zebulun, those who bear the lieutenant's staff. The princes of Issachar came with Deborah, and Issachar, faithful to Barak, into the valley. They rushed there at his heels. Among the clans of Reuben, there were great searching of heart. Why did you sit still among the sheepfolds and hear the whistling of the fields? Among the clans of Reuben, there were great searching heart. Gilead stayed beyond the Jordan, and Dan, why did he stay with the ships? Asher sat still at the coast of the sea, staying by his landings. Zebulun is a people who risk their lives to the death. Naphtali, too, on the heights of the field. The kings came, they fought the kings of Canaan, the Tapnach, by the waters of the Nego. They got no spoils of silver from heaven. The stars fought from their courses, they fought against Assyria. The torrents of Kishon swept them away. The ancient torment, the torment of Kishon, marched on my soul with might. Then loud beat the horses' hoofs with the galloping of his steeds. Verse 23. Curse Meroz, says the angel of the Lord. Curse its inhabitants thoroughly, because they did not come to the help of the Lord, against the mighty. What is the point? I want us to see two lessons here. Number one, God noticed the contribution that every tribe made or did not make towards the victory. There were some tribes that led an army to fight. There were some tribes like the Reubenites, who didn't bother. They went to look about their own business, the sheep. There were people who, Dan for instance, didn't contribute anything to the war. They stayed with their ships, they looked after their own business. And God listed, and if you notice the reading, God lists the contribution that each tribe made toward helping him to win this battle. And what does that say to us? God watches and notices our faithful acts of service. It does not escape him. It does not escape God the fact that he notices what we do, what we contribute or don't contribute towards his cause or helping him. That's the first thing I want us to keep in mind, that God watches our actions. Verse 23, curse Meroz, says the angel of the Lord. It is not Barak, it is not Deborah that is cursing the people of Meroz. It is the angel of the Lord, it is God himself. And the curse here is not indecent language. It's not swearing. The curse here is that the angel of the Lord is calling condemnation on Meroz. Why? Because they did not come to the help of the Lord. And so, in this second part of it, they were wanting. When danger came, when duty came, they were wanting there. They didn't carry out the words of the song that stand up for Jesus. I want to leave this as we go out visiting this evening or during the week. I want to leave this encouragement with us. It's from Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 16. Hebrews 10 and verse 6. It says, for God is not unjust so as to overlook your work and the love that you have known that you have shown for his name in serving the saints as you still do. Our acts of righteousness, your faithful acts of righteousness, does not go unnoticed with God. And the last passage, as we go out, as we think about visiting either today or for this week, another passage I want to leave with us. Therefore, my beloved brothers and sisters, always on the text. Therefore, my beloved brothers, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain. Where duty calls or danger, let us not be wanting there. If there are any persons here who have not yet committed their lives to Christ, you can do so. Hear the word, believe it, repent of your sins, confess your faith, and beg the mercy of water for the removal of your sins. Now we sing the song now.